much was the tip that came in?
300 grand.
That's a $20 million rip.
Yeah, guys, a true honor to speak with you both today. Congratulations on this picture.
Thank
you very much.
If I'm doing my research correctly, I believe this is the 15th collaboration between you two, both on screen.
That's if you
producing.
count every little ticky-tack, a lot of extra
That's
work.
like, a lot of extra work.
We were extras in a number of movies together, so that's a real resume filler. You know what I mean? One day.
I've been an extra in a couple of years. I was an extra in Glory Days, right?
That's right.
When we at Jay Shiki when we shot there, and then I was an extra in the one you did with Morgan in Sum of All Fears. Remember, I was a waiter.
Oh, that's right, because we were extras in
and Phil Rock,
and Phil Robinson because we were extras in Field of Dreams. Yeah.
At this point, do you just have a shorthand? Do you feel like you've developed that?
Yeah,
probably. Yeah. I mean, I think you do with any of your friends, right? Like, and it's a function of just having a lot of common experiences and shared frames of reference. So you don't have to say, one time I was listening to a song,
Because usually we were there and he's like, remember the time we were at that thing? And it's kind of like that.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
When this script comes across your desk for artist equity specifically, what are some intangibles that make you say, this is one we absolutely want to get behind, this is a film we want to make?
It's a good question. I don't think it's as analytical. I think just as a function of having read so many thousands of scripts in our lives and having written so many scripts, it's more about a feeling a script elicits that you go, you know to pay attention to that feeling, right? If the script does something to you. And this was one of those. It was really tense. It was really exciting. I had no idea who was who and what was happening, and that's what, I think that's what originally caught our attention about it.
Yeah, there's a bit of a Departed flavor to it too. Like based on who knows what, like
yeah, that's
I felt
true.
That
it's got that kind of similar, yes, these are concretely true crime events, but also, open, like this, the license is taken. There's definitely departure from stuff, and it's I think the best way to do it. If you're too constrained by, nope, this is what really happened, it really can paint you into a corner dramatically. But if you give yourself room to then say, no, but then we're gonna add story to that. It's a really good way, I think, to work. It's a really good setup for a story, and then bringing all these great actors in and giving them room to create stuff and breathe. I think is a great model that Joe set up.
Yeah, the tension was thick. You took us on a journey, an odyssey, some might be able to say.
An odyssey, yes.
An odyssey. I would love to know, I know you can't really say much, but you gave a great interview recently about the physical prep you had to go through. For me, as a diehard fan of all things Greek mythology, like we read Homer in school, then that opened me up to the myths of Icarus and the myths of Medusa and all that kind of stuff. Your intellectual preparation. Did you reread the Odyssey when preparing? And how did you get in the headspace of becoming this hero?
Read it.
Is it a book?
What? No, I don't do that.
Yeah, I did, but the thing, I think one of Chris is obviously a phenomenon and everybody knows that, but I don't think people understand how good a writer he is. He is like looking at just Oppenheimer, that was a Pulitzer Prize winning book that's about that thick with the smallest print you've ever seen. And he really did condense it and pull out, and tease out every single piece with all of these characters and making them all three-dimensional. And it was just an unbelievable feat of writing. And that's what he's done with this screenplay. It's a phenomenal screenplay. And
which is really the challenge with something like this, like the hardest part. You can get great actors, you can do spectacle, right? But like
you have to get your head around what it is and how you're going to tell it, and that is the really, really hard work. So by the time I came aboard, I had this script. I'd reread it, but then I got the script, and I really marveled at the script. It was an unbelievable piece of writing. Yeah.
Hell yeah, July 2026. I can't wait. I already got my ticket for 70mm. Sasha, you're a Boston native, if I'm not mistaken, born and raised. Is this just an absolute dream come true for you to work with Ben and Matt?
100%. They're legends, Boston legends, and they're so nice. And to meet, two of Boston's legends who are kind and empowering and great leaders is an honor for sure.
Was there something going in that you expected out of them that went differently and the other way around?
No, I have no expectations when I walk into a room. But I think it's beautiful to learn how beautiful of leaders they both are.
Mm-hmm. Catalina, for your character in the film, has a close relationship with a dog. What was that like on set? Did you actually develop a dynamic with the dog that was portraying your on-screen dog?
I tried. He's a very well-trained dog. He's very well loved. They love him, his owners. He's very well trained. They put a lot of effort into Wilberg. But I got allergic to him. I was very allergic to Wilberg, and I had to take some allergy pills. So every time I have to, touch him, I have to like wash my hands or like clean my hands very thoroughly, or else I will just get like
Hives everywhere.
hives, which, was just a little inconvenient because I love animals, and he was, at the end of the day, he was amazing.
Yeah, he's arguably the hero of the story based on how everything goes. I do have a spoiler question we'll save until after release. Okay. Sasha, you're in the thick of it in terms of the conflict that's going on, and you think you know everything, and us as the audience member, because we're seeing the story through your eyes, we also think we know everything. Do you think you would have picked up on Steve being the actual person who's at fault here?
No, I think that Detective Dumour, Matt's character plays it in such a way that he tricks Desi altogether. And, I think in that moment he says, like, I knew you'd do the right thing. And, Desi was just trying to go with, with whatever was coming. She just wanted to escape. She knew, I think, what was coming, and she did not want to be put in the line of fire like that.
Yeah, it took me by a huge surprise. I did not see it coming whatsoever. But as your director mentioned, once you hear the 150K, that's what changes everything when you go back and rewatch it. Got to see this film yesterday on the big screen.
Yes, sir.
The way it's meant to be experienced, and whoo boy, took me for a thrill ride.
That's great, brother. That's great. Like I said, I don't watch the movie anymore. I watch people watch the movie. It's like I just saw 1,200 heads, no one's moving. I've been doing this long enough. It's like if you got him, and I thought, okay, we got him.
Yeah, we were dialed in. Also because this was inspired by true events. Could you kind of walk me down that rabbit hole of the fictional story that existed and how you morphed it into what the rip is?
A lot of those details are the same, man. There was more money. It was $24 million. It was actually not a young woman, it was an older guy. And he had told them, but not dissimilar from the movie, is that when it happened, the guy said, listen, take half and leave. Telling the cops, take half and leave. Nobody will care. Just go. And so that story had existed. My friend Chris, who Matt Damon's character is kind of loosely based on, he had this terrible tragedy in his life. He lost his son. That's who the movie's dedicated to at the end. You see his name, Jay Cassiano. And Chris was really lovely about letting me take this very deeply personal thing. And I think what I wanted to do is give him kind of a monument to his son's time on Earth, and again, I help my friend process with this kind of anguish and grief of the worst thing that could happen to a parent, So, and to take it and recontextualize and make it and turn it into something that people would see and people would appreciate and people would know this kid's name. And so, it's like these little things I think that we labored to do, and I showed it to him about a month ago in Miami, and we had a long cry, and it was great, and he's happy, and so I'm thrilled. That was the job, and we accomplished that.
Yeah, very beautifully said. Thank you for sharing that. Getting Matt Damon and Ben Affleck involved, I'm sure must have just been a dream come true, but especially their production company with what they're trying to spotlight with different kind of stories here in Hollywood. Could you talk to me about the collaborative process you guys had as a trio?
Listen, Matt and Ben and I have been friends for many, many years, and I work with Ben, I almost work with Matt, and we have this kind of mutual admiration society, and so you get in there with those guys, and these are just heavyweight fighters, and guys that understand, because they happen to be world-class filmmakers, how this process works, how to support a director, how to give them the things they need to make something, meaningful, and how to get out of the way and not be a hindrance to the process. And when I tell you, Liam, this is the best experience I've ever had. It's my personal favorite of movies I've made, and I think it's in large part due to their contributions and how they choose to run Artist Equity. And again, what they're doing right now, trying to, as many times as this thing runs, as successful as it is, the money goes back to the crew, the caterer and the gaffer, and I love that they're on the kind of the vanguard or the forefront of that.
Yeah, we need artists supporting artists.
Absolutely true. Now more than ever, dude. Now more than ever with AI and all this kind of nonsense. It's like we really need that sense of we got to take hold of this stuff and look after one another.
Yeah, very well said. I want to get an ending explain question out of you.
Yes,
we'll save
please
this until
do.
after
Please
release.
do. Yeah.
Detective Mike Rowe being the one who's kind of scheming behind it all. Crazy
Steve,
twist.
no one sees it coming,
No
baby.
one saw it coming because I was looking for the different. You lead us down one kind of journey,
right? With
kind of it being a false flag with Matt Damon the whole time, and it ends up being Steve.
I think the only way Liam, is if you remember who he said 150K to, because I was, you know what I mean. That's kind of like slapdash purposefully, If you remember that. then you'll start to tie in. But I think even then it's like, well, it can't be, because again, in the same way that I trade on Matt and Ben's 40-year relationship and the fact they're movie stars, and well, Jason Bourne can't be a bad guy, Batman can't be a bad guy, Glenn from The Walking Dead can't be a bad guy. You know what I mean? Coach Friday Night Lights can't be a bad. So you're absolutely playing with those mores, with those kinds of the historical kind of how they're established as characters in other things and what they're known for. You're absolutely toying with that and dining off of that at times.
Yeah, when you put a face to evil, one of the greatest twists in recent memory, Barbarian. You ever see it?
Yeah, man.
With Bill Skarsgård, you think, oh, that's Pennywise. He's obviously going to be the villain.
Nope. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I think it really works, and I don't think people see it coming, man. I think there's a few twists there at the end that I think. I'm watching these two young women watch it, and when they're, again, spoiler, when the phone books are and the girl turned to her friend and went, no. So that's it.
Yeah.
That's it,
AWTGG. What does it mean?
Are we the good guys?